How's it going, guys? Welcome to another video. My name's Christian Jamal. I've spent over $100 million on Facebook ads, and today I'm going to show you guys how to set up the best ads and the best automations for your auto shop. Whether you do ceramic coatings, details, wraps, whatever it may be, this is going to be one of the most valuable videos you watch. It's not going to be super long, but it's going to be full of valuable content that you can go literally pause this video step by step and apply step by step in order to have a phenomenal setup that agencies would charge you tens of thousands of dollars to do. But you're gonna do it with me for free today, and it's gonna take less than 30 minutes. So without further ado, let's hop into my computer. Now, the nice part about what we're going to be doing is we are going to be heavily utilizing AI, especially ChatGPT 4.0, because it's able to create stunning images with as little as a prompt. In a typical scenario, you're gonna have to spend time, money, effort on creating graphics with a graphic designer. But in this situation, all we need is a few minutes of waiting while ChatGPT cooks something up for us. What I'm gonna be using for this example is a good friend of mine who also wrapped my Lambo. TJ has a business similar to what we're talking about that also does ceramic coatings, wraps, etc. So I'm gonna be using him in this example just to show you guys what this looks like. So I'm gonna leave this prompt, by the way, in the description so you guys can easily copy paste it, replace it with the words of what you're looking for, and change the business name, etc. And then you can take it from there. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to read you guys the prompt. It's going to say, create a professionally and visually striking meta ad for, in this situation, it's TFAT's Auto Spa, which you would put your business name there, promoting an April special, ceramic coatings for $8.99. Obviously, I don't think he's doing this offer or anything like that. I'm just showing you guys as an example. The design should be sleek and luxurious, appealing to car enthusiasts who care about premium car care. Now, I am a car enthusiast, and I feel like sleek and luxurious is kind of along the lines of the vibe that I usually go for when I'm looking for something to purchase. And we're gonna go through the design specs. So the headline is gonna be April special, $8.99 ceramic coating. The subtext, okay, which by the way is optional, but I'm just gonna put a kind of like a quote in there, which is protect your paint, preserve the shine. And the logo is gonna be TFAT's logo, which I'm going to attach here. And obviously, if you have a business, you should have your logo on your computer as well. And what we're gonna do for a car visual, I personally created this prompt with like a 911 Turbo S in there. But in this situation, because we want it to be striking and appealing, what I'm gonna say is in orange, Lamborghini Huracan Evo with a high gloss finish emphasizing the shine and ceramic coating effect, okay? Now the background, I wanna use a dark premium looking garage, right? Maybe we can add like a blur to it, right? So use a dark premium looking garage or detailing studio background with moody lighting. And then you can even keep it this way or add like a blur. I actually think this is gonna come out really nice, so I'm gonna keep it the way it is. The color scheme, I wanna keep it as deep navy blue, silver and white. And then I also wanna add like potentially like a touch of gold, right? Because TFAT's has gold in their logo, so we can use that as well. Of course, you would change these for what your color branding guidelines look like. And then the overall aesthetic, we're looking for a minimalistic, bold, polished, and high-end, like a luxury automotive brand, of course. And you don't want emojis and you don't want any clutter. And big misconception on Facebook is you need all this info in the ad. You really don't. All you need to do is grab someone's attention, get them to fill out your form, and then set up automations on the back end that are gonna nurture that lead for you, which we're also going to show you how to set up in this video. Now, all I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna attach from my computer TFAT's logo, and I'm going to just send it. And from here, ChatGPT is going to start generating an image. Now this does take a little bit of time. I have noticed if you jump from one tab to another that it slows everything down. So I'm just gonna give it like 5 minutes and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, so we got our ad. This is the image that it came up with. And honestly, this kind of looks better than my car. So I really like this ad. The only problem is that when you are uploading a logo or something like that, it doesn't always necessarily get the job done right. Now, I'm not certain at what point in time you're watching this video, so you're probably gonna not have this issue, but for the time being, this is a problem. So this is not TFAT's logo. What you are able to do is you're able to download this image, go to Canva, just drag and drop your logo, and then it will all be done. Now, for the sake of this example, I'm just gonna go with it. You're gonna go on the top right, click download, and then boom, you're done. Now, what we wanna do with this image is set up an actual meta ad. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna load up TJ's ad account, and then we're gonna go ahead and start setting up this ad. So now that you've loaded in your ad account, TJ was kind enough to let me use his business as an example. So I'm not actually gonna show you guys his numbers or anything like that. But all you wanna do is you wanna go on the top left corner, click on the create button. And what we're looking for is leads, of course. So we're gonna click on leads. We're gonna click on continue. We're gonna do a manual leads campaign. We're gonna click continue. And then for this one, we're just gonna call it YouTube example. And then what you wanna do is you wanna scroll down. This is the campaign side. You don't really wanna complicate this. I have a much more in-depth course on Facebook ads. If you're interested, it's in the description. But I'm not gonna bore you with enough detail on every single section. I'm just gonna tell you exactly what to do. So on this side, you wanna actually keep this off, okay? So discard everything, select leads, click next. On the ad set level, this is going to be your audience, okay? So what we're gonna start with saying is we want instant forms, okay? I'm going to just select TJ's page. And then after that, what you wanna do is you wanna set your daily budget. Let's say theoretically, as a smaller business, I don't recommend anything less than $50 a day. So let's say we're gonna target 5 separate audiences at $10 a day. So the combination will be $50 a day. Now, as we scroll down, you wanna get to the audience section. I like to switch to original audiences because I find that it does much better. But before we do that, we wanna just put the time to be 11:59 p.m. for the time zone that you're in, because you want Facebook to have a full 24 hours worth of data. You don't want the ads to get approved at 7, 8 p.m. and spend your entire daily budget in those hours. And then obviously, if you don't get a full 24 hours worth of data, Facebook starts to lean to one side versus the other, and then you tend to not get the best results that you want. Now, obviously, as a car shop, you don't want to run ads in the entire United States. So we're just going to click edit. And let's say you want to target the Tampa Bay area. So this is where we're located. So let's just say Tampa. 25 miles, I find it to be way too big of a range, especially for like a car wrap, ceramic coating type of business. So let's just say we're going to do 10 miles. And honestly, what you could even do to improve your results is put your physical address in here, and you can then do a radius around it. So I'll give you guys an example. So our office is located on 5401 West Kennedy Boulevard. Okay, now we just give it a second. There we go, 5401 West Kennedy Boulevard, Tampa. Boom, I can just do a 10-mile radius around our office, right? And you can even go as low as 1 mile radius when you're targeting a specific location. Now, just for the sake of this example, let's just say we want to target Tampa, Florida as a city. We're gonna do a 10-mile radius, and that's pretty much it. Now for age group, you are able to tweak the age group a little bit. However, I always recommend just select the entire demographic, 18 to 65 plus, see what kind of leads you get, and then make changes from there. To give you guys an example, a lot of people tell me, oh, I'm getting very low quality leads, they're too young, they don't have money, etc. That's very simple. You just come back to your Facebook ads, you click on age, you do 25 as a minimum, and that's it. That's all you need to do. If you're getting way too old of a population where they don't care about cars, or they don't even have a car, right? You can just select this and say, for example, 55 as a cap. Now, I'm just gonna leave it 25 to 55 for the sake of this example. Based on my experience in the car industry, this is what I've seen do well, so you guys can just do the same. Genders doesn't matter. And then detailed targeting, for this first target audience, we're actually gonna keep this blank. We're gonna keep this a control. So what we're gonna go back up here, we're gonna call this ad set control, because we wanna test against a blank sample, right? Maybe you're getting cheaper leads from an audience that is interested in, for example, Lamborghini, because there's a Lamborghini in the ad, but they're not actually buying your service, right? So you always wanna have kind of like a litmus test to always compare to. So that's why I always have a control audience. Now for placements, you get to decide if you want your ads to run through manual placements on Facebook, Instagram, etc. But Usually, especially for this type of business, you want to run it on both Facebook and Instagram and then just leave it as an Advantage Plus audience. Now on the ad section, what we're going to be doing, we're going to call this ad 1, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to select a single image. I personally deselect multi-advertiser ads. What this means is, let's say there's a competitor of yours running ads and someone filled out their form. What this will do is that at the end of the form, after they're done filling out their form, you will be an option below as like a competitor, sign up to get another quote. Typically, you think that this is a good thing. However, the bad part about this is that now on your ads, your competitors also show. So typically, I deselect this. I just want it to be completely separated. I don't want there to be any like active competition going on my ad. So that's pretty much it. Now you want to scroll down to the ad creative section, and we're going to do an image ad, and then we're going to upload the image that we created. Okay, we're going to give it a second to process. We're going to click next. Now just wait for the crop section to come in, because you want to make sure all is selected as original. A lot of times Facebook will automatically select a different ratio for certain ads, so just make sure they're all original. You are able to do more advanced strategies where you have photos specific to stories, photos specific to the feed, etc. But for the sake of this example, especially if you don't have a lot of ads experience, I would recommend just keep it simple because that's the best way to scale. After that, you want to click next. For primary text, what you're able to do is you're able to either go back to ChatGPT and come up with your own text, or you're able to keep it simple. So we're going to go back to ChatGPT for this example, and we're going to say, give me a short form copy of less than 120 characters with 1 to 2 emojis prompting people to sign up for this special. And we're gonna just send that and see what it comes up with. Shine like never before, get ceramic coating for just $8.99 this April, limited spots, book now. I personally really like this. You don't need to overcomplicate this, because the more you complicate, the worse the results are. It's really that simple. And then for headline, we're just gonna say limited time offer in all caps. And I usually leave the description blank. For call to action, you wanna do learn more, and then you wanna click next. We don't wanna have any image generated on Facebook itself, even though these actually kinda look kinda good. We're gonna skip and continue. We don't want any enhancements. A lot of times enhancements means that Facebook will just add random music behind your photos, and a lot of times it doesn't actually know what kind of music matches the vibe of your customers. Now, because you guys can see here on the right side, the image is a little bit cut up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna edit this group, and now we're gonna crop this selectively just for the story, or just for the feed, excuse me. So we're gonna do original, and we want to, I guess it's not allowing me to do it the right way. So let's say just for the sake of this example, we're gonna just do this, crop it like that. We're gonna click save, and this looks a lot better. Now, keep in mind that not always will it look exactly what it looks like here on the preview, but just for the sake of this example, we're just gonna adjust the image. And then from here, we're gonna just go back up here. They actually always change where this is placed, but we wanna create a form, okay? So for this form, we're gonna just call it test example. And we want more volume, especially at the start. As you get more advanced, you then wanna go higher intent, rich creative, etc. But for the sake of this example, we're gonna create a greeting. I know it's optional, I know you can turn it off, but I always recommend doing a greeting. And the headline should be something along the lines of or ceramic coating special, and then $8.99. Let's just do that. And then limited spots. And then the description under it is see if you qualify, ... And then after that, we want to do the questions. We always want to add a custom question. I used to be against it a few years ago, but as of now, you really want to add at least one question just to qualify the leads a little bit better. So the question we're going to ask is, what type of vehicle do you have? Question mark. And then for the description is, who do we contact regarding this special? And then you want to always reorder it first, full name always first, phone number second, email third, and phone number you want to uncheck. It's not optional. We want a phone number. And then from here, you just click next. You can go get a link from your privacy policy. Let's just say test.com/privacy-policy. And then you can also add a text, right? You don't necessarily need this, but we can actually do this. And then the ending, you're gonna say something along the lines of thanks, you're all set. And now what you wanna do here is very important. What I always recommend is one of our experts will reach out shortly, but you can skip the wait and call us below now. And then for call business, and then we're just gonna put like your phone number, and then for the call to action, instead of call now, you say call here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and fill out my phone number. I'm gonna not put this on video just for the sake of this example, and then I'll be right back with you guys as soon as I'm done. The only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my phone number and I'm gonna click on create form over here in the corner. Now that we're done creating the form, all we would need to do is create some form of split test, okay? So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go back to ChatGPT and I'm gonna create a replica of this image, but instead of an orange Lamborghini, I'm gonna put a red Ferrari. Now we're gonna go back to ChatGPT. I'm gonna go back to the prompt. I'm gonna go back and copy this prompt. I'm gonna go back down here, and then I'm just gonna scroll down to where it says car visual. So just say red Ferrari. Let's just say an F8 with black top with a high gloss finish, blah, 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 enter. Now we're gonna wait a couple more minutes for ChatGPT to finish creating this ad for us. All right, perfect. So ChatGPT is done generating that image. Honestly, I like this one better than the first one. So we're gonna go ahead and download this image, and we're gonna go back to the ads. Now you wanna click these three dots right here. You wanna click on quick duplicate, because the only thing we're gonna be changing is the image. So you wanna scroll back to the image, click the little remove media, add image, and then upload the second image. Now, what you're able to do is you can actually even on the prompt say the size that you want it. If you want it a square, just say you want the image to be a square. If you don't want to sit down here and crop and do things like that. And just like I was mentioning before, Facebook recommended that we crop it this way, which obviously looks really bad. We're gonna just click on original. We're gonna click next, next, skip and continue, and then done. Now, boom, we have the same exact version of this ad. We're just gonna edit the feed version just like we did before. We're gonna do a square, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna click save. And then boom, it's done. All we have to do now just to stay organized is we're gonna change the ad name to ad 2. And we're gonna go to control and we're gonna click quick duplicate on this to test a secondary audience. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go detailed targeting, and you want to look up, for example, let's just say high net worth individuals. Okay, and that's gonna be the name of this ad set. Now we're gonna go back, we're gonna click duplicate again, and we're gonna scroll down, and we're gonna change this one to, for example, Ford, right? Like we don't need to necessarily always target like high-end everything, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're doing $8.99 ceramic coating, you service the entire market, right? So we're gonna do Ford Motors Company as an interest, and we're gonna put this up here, paste, done. The next thing we wanna do is we're gonna quick duplicate this. We're gonna scroll down, and we're gonna change, instead of Ford, we're gonna click here and see some suggestions. So we have BMW, okay? So let's target BMW. Obviously, you know, people that have BMWs really like their cars, so we're gonna select that. We're gonna do quick duplicate, and as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the 5th one, okay? So for this, what we're gonna do is I'm actually going to do something called a hyper target, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select a bunch of brands, so BMW, Audi, Mercedes, Porsche, Lamborghini, Maserati, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Bentley, whatever. You get the gist. You can select a bunch of them, but what you wanna do now is you wanna click on narrow audience, and then you can select something like engaged shoppers, right? So these are people that typically like to buy things, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna call this one hyper target, many makes, and then we're gonna do XES, which is engaged shoppers. And that's pretty much all you need to do on Facebook. You then click publish, these ads go under review, Facebook approves them, and after they get approved, Facebook starts spending your money. Now, is this the end? Almost, right? Most people kind of stop at this stage, and that's why most people fail. What we're gonna do is we're gonna head over to our CRM, which I'll also leave a link for in the description if you guys would like to use the Go High Level. This is a blank account. You can see this is like a blank account, just made this as a test example. What we can do is we can go under automations and we can click on, actually what we wanna do is we wanna go settings first, we wanna go on integrations, and you wanna head over to where it has Meta right here. So we're gonna click on connect, you wanna continue, and here it's gonna prompt you to select the pages that you want. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up by going to my Facebook because I do have certain restrictions on what I allow to pass through, just because my account, as someone that publishes content, I wanna protect our clients from someone thinking they can hack me and get access to the clients. So like, you're not gonna be able to see this. So I'm gonna go ahead on Facebook, give me like 2 seconds, I'll be right back, and I'm gonna have the TFATS Auto Spa page pulled up right here. All right, now that we're back, you can see we have the TFATS Auto Spa page. We're gonna click connect and continue. And then from here, what's gonna happen is we're gonna configure the field mapping. You guys see we have the form, which is the test example. We're gonna map the fields. What type of vehicle do you have? We can just scroll down and then just create some sort of custom field and select this, which if you don't know how to do it, I'll just show you guys really quick. You can go to custom fields, add a field. It's gonna be a single line, and then we're gonna call it make and model, and then we're gonna click, the group is gonna be contact, and we're gonna click save. All right, so now we're gonna go back to integrations, Facebook form field mapping. We're gonna go back to that same form. What type of vehicle do you have? Now you can see we have make and model. Full name is full name, phone number is phone number, email is email, confirm. What this is going to do is every time someone comes in from Facebook, you're instantly gonna get this lead in CRM. No other software is needed. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start by creating some workflows, some automations, okay? So we're gonna click continue. So this one is gonna be called new lead. And what we're gonna do is we're going to tag, and then we're also gonna create an opportunity, okay? So instead of just tag, I'm gonna call this flow. And what we're gonna do is the trigger action is going to be, let's actually delete this. The new trigger action is going to be Facebook lead form submitted. And then we're gonna select pages, and we're gonna say TFATS Auto Spa. And then for this situation specifically, we say form is, and we're gonna call it the test example, safe trigger. Now, the first thing we wanna do, okay, is we're gonna delete this action really quick. We're going to tag that contact. Just for future reference, for simple sorting, we're gonna say $8.99 special, add new tag, and then we're also gonna tag this as meta lead, so that we know for future reference, if we have another offer running, we can still tag them as meta lead and go through the same flow, but for now, we're gonna also see that they came from the $8.99 special. Now, after we save this action, I always recommend staying organized. So we're gonna say add $8.99 special and meta lead tags. Okay, let me just space this out properly. All right, boom, save action. So after we do this, I'm just gonna click save for now. We wanna create a new pipeline. So you go back to opportunities. We don't have a pipeline right now. Actually, we do have a pipeline, interesting. Okay, so typically you wanna just go to pipeline, and then you wanna say, for example, this is our sales pipeline. So this is a new lead, which is uncontacted. You want to add another stage, which is contacted, no answer. and then we're gonna say 1 to 2. So you try to contact them twice. And then we're gonna do another one, which is 2 to 4. And then here we can say appointment set, which by the way, you guys can go much more in depth. I'm just kind of keeping it surface level here. And then we can say no show. So they didn't show up to their appointment. Closed deal. And then we can also have like a dead leads section, which people are not answering, they're not contacting you, etc. We're gonna click save. We're gonna go back to the automation. We're gonna click on this again. And then we're gonna do, which is create or update opportunity. We're gonna create opportunity. We're gonna select the pipeline, which is sales, and we're gonna put them in new. The opportunity name is gonna be the contact's full name because we're importing them from Facebook. And the opportunity source is going to be meta ads. Okay, now the opportunity value, just for the sake of this example, I will just say $8.99, which is, that's what we believe these guys are going to be worth. And the status is going to be open. Now, you can allow opportunity to move to previous stages in the pipeline. So let's say someone was a dead lead, they signed up again, that you'll be able to move them back here. And I guess it just wants me to remove the $sign. So we're gonna save action. Now, the next thing you wanna do is the following. I like to separate these things. So I'm gonna publish this and click save. This is just a lead created workflow. The next thing you wanna do is you wanna create a nurture sequence. So here, what we're going to be doing is we're gonna first go to settings, we're gonna allow reentry, we're gonna allow multiple opportunities, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna stop on response. So if someone responds, we're gonna end this workflow completely. Now, the trigger is going to be the tag, and the tag was added, we're gonna do the $8.99 special. Save trigger, and we're gonna call this $8.99 special to SMS automations. Okay, now the first thing we want to do is we want to SMS them. We're going to say something along the lines of, hi, contact, first name, comma, this is Christian with TFATS Auto Spa. Thank you for your interest in our $8.99 ceramic coating special. Do you prefer call or text? Question mark. Now we're gonna click save. So this is gonna be SMS 1, and what we were gonna do is we're actually gonna create some sort of extended flow. So here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do an if-else statement. So we're gonna do text, and then we're gonna do call. Okay? And for text, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the contact reply, which I guess we need to do a wait step here. So that's what I meant to do, which is wait. And we're gonna do a condition, which is going to be reply to SMS 1. We're gonna time out in 2 hours. So we're gonna do wait 2 hours, save action. So if they did reply, then we wanna find out if they said call or text. Now we're gonna do text, we're gonna do call. And then if they replied message contains, let's just say SMS, and we're gonna add another branch, and we're gonna call it an or branch. So if they replied with SMS, or they replied with message, or they reply with contains, like, let's just say MSG, that's another way to say message, add segment, contact reply, contains text. So these are a couple of different ways you can say SMS or text. If they say call, then you can just segment it elsewhere. So we're gonna save action, okay? So if they said call, we're gonna add a call action. We want a manual action to call. If they say text, SMS, we're gonna call this SMS2. The message is gonna be, great, how long have you had your and then we're gonna go back to contact. And you guys remember how we created the custom field? We're gonna have the make and model here. We're gonna just ask them a simple question just to nurture them a little bit more. And I actually really like this message. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this action. And let's say after 2 hours of you sending the initial message, no one responded, okay? So it's gonna time out after 2 hours. They didn't reply, so it's gonna go down this flow. So let's call this SMS2, but instead of saying, great, how long have you had your ex? You can just remove great and just ask them, how long have you had your 2017 Toyota Camry? Save action. Just to initiate a prompt response, because that's not a very hard message to respond to, so this is super simple. Now, if they responded to this, typically you can always go down another flow, which is if they replied, etc. You can complicate this and make this an insane flow, but for the sake of this example, we're just gonna skip it. And if they responded to SMS2 or they didn't respond to SMS2, now it's your job to call them and close the deal. And then here what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait, let's just call it 24 hours, or let's just do 1 day. Wait 1 day. And after waiting 1 day, we're gonna do another response, right? So copy action, we're gonna copy it right here. Copy all actions from here. We're gonna do SMS3, which is still trying to reach you. This offer is a limited time special. So I just want to make sure you have all the info you need. Save action, wait 1 day, and then let's just send them one final message. Let's just say for the sake of this example, and this will be SMS4. Not sure if this is still a priority. I can't help you if we don't connect. Where do we go from here? Question mark, save. So now, if someone comes in, we have a 4 SMS flow if they're not answering, which is gonna help you a lot on the automation side. So now we're just gonna click publish, click save, and all of these flows will start to work. Now, obviously, you're not gonna be able to send SMS if you don't have a phone number. So I would just go to settings, phone number, buy a phone number, etc. That's pretty much it for this video. This is a crazy setup that would have taken an agency probably a week or a month to set up for you and costed you thousands of dollars, when realistically all you need is a focused 30 minutes on your computer setting this up. And you didn't have to pay a graphic designer, you didn't have to pay a media buyer, you didn't have to pay an agency. All you had to do was follow the instructions on this 30-minute video, and you're gonna have a very solid Facebook ad setup. Now, of course, there is many levels beyond this. If you actually do like Facebook ads and you wanna expand your knowledge on automations, graphic design, etc., like I mentioned, we have a community down in the description. But if that's pretty much it for you for this video, I hope you guys enjoyed. Check out the next video down below in the description, and I'll see you guys on the next one.